Hi guys, Dr. Rachel Hippolyte here. I'm going to talk to you about stress and the brain. Okay, now the last video we spoke about the prefrontal cortex and how important that is, um, and how stress has a negative effect on the brain and on the prefrontal cortex. So, first of all, it's really important to understand that low grade short term stress is actually really important to keep us functioning. If we didn't have low grade short term stress, we wouldn't probably have any drive. We wouldn't worry about getting up to work. We wouldn't worry about being on time. We just wouldn't stress, full stop. The problem comes when the stress centers don't turn off. Okay, and then they are on in long term in a chronic way. So they're over activating our um, our emotional brain by decreasing the function of our prefrontal cortex. So all of those areas of the brain, stress is important short term to be able to then turn on and off as needed in relation to the environment. Okay, so we know, all the researchers suggest that most poor health comes from long term stress, whether that's cancer, whether that's heart disease, whether that's high blood pressure, whether that's kidney disease, whether that's mental health disorders, any physical and um, mental health. Um, Long-term stress has a major negative impact on it. Okay, look at the lives that we live. Our lives are really stressful. Our brains are constantly turned on. We are always on the go. We very rarely have downtime. Now, what's really important to understand, that's our external stress. That's our busy lives, okay? One of the interesting things is most of our stress comes from our own minds. When our emotional brain gets turned on, it becomes negative, okay? It believes there's a tiger in the room. There's nothing positive about having a tiger in the room. So we fear the worst, we see the worst, we constantly worry, we have the what ifs. So, as well as starting with external stress, okay, all of a sudden, because our emotional brain's been then turned on, we then make our own stress. The majority of our stress comes from our own heads. We can control this with with healthy brain habits, and that can be mindfulness, that can be making sure that we have the correct diet, the correct supplements, brain training, doing the things that we love, taking time out, not getting overwhelmed, saying no if we don't want to do something sometimes. So stress, in the short term, when it's turned on and off as needed, is important. The problem is when it's never turned off. Okay, now I look at my kids that come and train with me. I am seeing so many young anxious kids, even as young as 3 years old. Okay, they are growing up in a very, very different world to me and my childhood, and in a very, very different world to my mum and her childhood. Their brains are never ever off. What with social media, what with phones, what with gaming, all of those kind of things means that their brains are constantly stimulated, and it really isn't healthy for the brains. They need downtime. They need to be taught how to just be still. Okay, what that is a healthy brain. Look, I truly believe that if we trained our brains from childhood constantly throughout teenage years, throughout adulthood, we wouldn't have anywhere near the mental health issues and therefore the physical health issues that we have. We are turning into a very, very sick society, and that's because we don't look after this. Hope this makes sense, guys. Long-term stress, which most of us are under, will overwhelm our brains and stop it functioning at its best. Thanks, guys.